You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
And I am Clint. Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Bulldogs here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Daniel, we got USCjr coming up this weekend.
That's correct.
Gamecocks ain't gonna know what hit them. We're gonna get
tomorrow. USCjr, by the way. USCjr, by the way. A lot of turmoil.
Right now, Gamecocks have a real, actual argument for being called USC Senior.
Real USC.
First time. We're going to get to our official predictions of that game tomorrow on the lock segment. We'll give you what we think is going to happen in the score, over, under, all that. But you're on this podcast because you're a fan of UGA. That's it. You're on the YouTubes. You're on the audio of the podcast because you just love UGA football. We do too, which is why we're here. Be really weird for any other reason, Daniel. Just shockingly odd.
I mean, you could be here for another reason. Auburn fan will be here for another reason later in the year.
By the way, Auburn fan, come back after this weekend. Come on back.
How's that whiteout going to treat you? Check back with me after locks tomorrow, and we'll talk about that whiteout game.
Preview of locks. Yeah. We are fans first and foremost, not gurus or insiders, but national gurus and insiders. Hey, go have fun. Daniel and I are fans first and foremost. We want your fandom to increase as ours increases as well.
That's right. So as long as you're not expecting anything objective or rational or well calculated, none of those things apply to the podcast. We are giving takes like fans give takes. We have thoughts and opinions like fans have thoughts and opinions. That's what the podcast is all about. So if you are a fan, then you found the right place. That's what Clint is trying to say. We are here 5 days a week. And by here, I mean any audio podcast listening app of your choosing, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, whatever, Stitcher, all the things. You can find us on there. And I also mean on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. Just search for Locked On Bulldogs on the YouTube machine, and you'll find us. That's where we are 5 days a week on video as well as audio. Wherever you listen to podcasts, it would help us out a bunch if you like the show. You can subscribe to both places so that it's always there, whichever medium you choose to partake in. And then if you like the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment on YouTube. Hit that Arby's bell. All of the things that you want to do. Give us a cat subscription. Whatever you want to do.
Here hitting that bell for you, Daniel. I don't know.
A lot of people. Man, we're getting people just coming out of the woodwork trying to make us feel good. Clint, just talking about where have you people been? You know, we've been putting this podcast out. You could have said nice things before this. Like
years we've been here begging things. And finally, we hit the YouTube machine, and all of a sudden, you guys are like, "No, we." All
of a sudden, like, "Hey, we really like you guys." That's now you do. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And as always, the email address lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter @dogspodcast. Okay, Clint, you mentioned South Carolina coming into Athens. It's a night game. It's in Athens. Woo. They're going to turn those lights down. It's a fun time. It's a great atmosphere. First SEC game, first SEC home sellout in a couple years. It's going to be give me all the things, and it's a year playing South Carolina.
Wash myself in it
when we don't have to listen to that Sandstorm song, and so everything's going right for the Georgia Bulldogs. All the quarterbacks are injured, so
I was going to say when you say everything's going right,
let me quibble right there for a bit.
Yeah, apparently a quarterback that has done significant time on this team. Again, we're here again. No quarterback with significant time is healthy as of today. Daniel.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and again, are we going to do this carousel again? Are we going to do this dance where we try to predict who's going to play and we get all worked up?
Full stop. Don't do it.
Let's don't. Let's talk about South Carolina instead, Clint.
Gladly.
South Carolina, Shane Beamer's been talking to the media, former UGA assistant, former Oklahoma assistant, Shane Beamer, learned under the greatest offensive mind in college football.
The greatest, I hear.
Yes. James Coley. That's who I'm speaking of, obviously. Obviously. Shane Beamer addressed the media and talking about the South Carolina offense. His primary concerns seem to be the run game, Clint. Got to fix the run game.
He knows that if you want to win, you got to be able to keep on getting ahead of the chains.
That's right.
I.e., not being second and long, third and long, but being second and 7, third and 3, something like that, especially in South Carolina. So yeah, he knows, Daniel. He makes it a point of emphasis. I don't know if he knows what he has to work with. Like, the old saying, you don't go to war with the army you want. You go to war with the army that you're given. And
sure.
I don't know.
Not a great army. I don't know. Listen, against ECU, formidable powerhouse that they are. ECU.
Eastern.
Well, can we say this?
The less mentioned Eastern.
Go ahead.
Of the Carolinas.
The Eastern of the Carolinas. Yes, that's right. There's an Eastern Carolina and a Western Carolina. This just Carolina. Get it together, man. Get it together. Just do something. ECU, maybe the best team in all the Carolinas. Clemson fans, are we? How are we feeling about that? Well, I don't. They are undefeated, so. South Carolina against ECU on 30% of their carries, Clint, gained 0 yards or fewer. That's 30% of their carries gained not 1 or 2 yards, but 0 yards or fewer.
So let me try to put this in context.
Sure.
Close to a third of the time that a play is called to run the ball.
How many downs do you get, by the way, before you have to punt in football? So 1/3 of those downs.
Okay, so you get 2 downs left to make so out of the downs that you're given, you go ahead and call a run play. And what you're saying is you might as well have just said, can we pass on this down? What? Let's start at second down.
Clock it. Just spike the ball, and then you get it at the exact same location. At least you never lose yards when you clock it. That's
wow.
Well, so what might have to happen is we know South Carolina can't run the ball against East Carolina. Can anyone run the ball against Georgia, Clint? Anyone.
You give me a team. I will let anybody in the world pick a college football team.
Okay.
You can go Army. You can go Michigan, who racked up 300 and some odd yards at the Big House.
Boy, oh boy.
You name the team. I'll take our defense stopping your run all day, every day.
Absolutely. South Carolina's not going to be able to run the ball against Georgia, period. So I guess that means there's only 2 ways to advance the ball in college football, Clint.
Okay, tell me more.
So if they can't run the ball, I guess they're going to have to pass the ball. Now, so let's talk to me about South Carolina's passing attack here. What real strengths and weaknesses situation?
Here's a strength. Got a veteran, mature quarterback. Very veteran, very mature quarterback. Con, his 9 to 5 at the insurance agency and the late nights with the second kid's feeding schedule really cutting into film time.
Really? Con, he's not actually a football player. So
he's literally not a student. He's a graduate assistant coach.
Okay. Well, so pros and cons. Things are going fine. Protection up front, Clint. How's South Carolina look up front?
Well, what if I was to tell you that we measure these statistics? And what if one of the statistics was South Carolina's offensive line is the worst pass pro offensive line in the SEC?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
So you're telling me that the only hope they have of advancing the ball, they're the worst at it, at protecting the quarterback while he tries to do it.
if you thought giving up a down was bad, if you thought starting second down was bad,
what about
now,
giving up a man's life to Adam Anderson? I mean,
that man, his family, they don't got life insurance yet. That's not going to kick in until 6 months he's on the job. He's got to do that 6-month probation period. He can't, guys.
Oh gosh, we're on the podcast breaking down life insurance. All right, we're going to talk more about South Carolina. We got some other thoughts about college football coming up. First, we want to tell you about the fine folks over at betonline.ag. They are your online sportsbook experts. You know everything that you need to know about them probably, but if you're new to the show, let me tell you that they are the place that Clint and I go to place all of our wagers online. Betonline.ag, you go there right now, you enter the promo code LOCKED ON, and you're going to get 100% match on your first deposit. That means you make a deposit, and then they make a deposit into your account. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. People don't just make deposits into your account for no reason. So go to betonline.ag, take advantage of this offer, enter the promo code locked on. It lets them know that we sent you. It helps us out. It helps you out because you get double the money with which to bet. Tomorrow, we will be on this podcast giving out locks. So if you're wondering, well, Daniel, I don't know what to bet on. Just wait. Just wait 1 second. Come back tomorrow, check in tomorrow, and we'll let you know. Go to betonline.ag. All of your college football, NFL, Major League Baseball, whatever sport tickles your fancy, they've got it over at BetOnline. So go to betonline.ag, enter the promo code locked on, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Clint.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get more into South Carolina. We'll get into them tomorrow. We'll break down the game. We'll give our official predictions. If you're new to the show, on Thursdays, we give an official prediction for the Georgia game. We give a score prediction. We talk about the total. We talk about the line, the spread, and we give an official prediction of how we think the game's going to play out. And then we give out predictions, locks for all of college football if you are inclined to wager. And then on Friday, we'll talk about what we're nervous about, excited about, what you shouldn't sleep on about this game, some other little tidbits, news and notes, things from get you ready for Saturday. But for today, Clint, middle of the week, Kirby's met with the media. Any thoughts from Kirby's media sessions this week? Kirby's trying to not let you have thoughts, it seems.
He is this week especially. Kirby is mitigating that down. He's truncating down his message. He has shortened up and tightened up responses. By the way, just for whatever reason, if you still think that you can ask about injury-related news from Kirby Smart, that is an exercise in futility. I must question all that you think about life if you keep up, because he's never going to give you an answer ever in his life.
What was that definition of insanity again, Clint? It's hard to recall.
Doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Okay. Well, I feel like fool me once, Kirby. Shame on you. But fool me 1 million times as I ask you to tell me about injury-related things. Yeah, so not a ton from Kirby's pressers. Let's look around the landscape of college football a little bit, Clint. We don't often do this, but have a little fun. A lot of things have happened this week. So let's start over.
And it's very important. This big picture is important to Georgia specifically. It's important.
It is important. Let's really quickly go across the country. Let's start on your coast, the West Coast. Can I still call it your coast, Clint? Is it still yours?
It's in my DNA. So yeah, absolutely.
All right. Do you want to start on the north side or the south side of the West Coast? Because it's two very different things.
Very different. Let's start with the Roy Kent bad news downer in Southern California.
Todd Helton, you were fired 2 days too late, but you were fired. That has to happen. You can't get blown out by Stanford. By the way, ruined my money line parlay. 15-team money line parlay. All I need is USC to win the game.
No points. Just win.
No cover. Just win the game. They get blown out. Todd Helton, good riddance to you.
Yes, sir.
Spoiler alert, Clint. Dan Mullen is interested in this job. Can we listen? Don't stop reporting this, people, because Let me just explain something to you. Dan Mullen is interested in every job.
All them job. If there's an opening
understand?
outside of Florida, he is interested in
He
it.
wants it. He's interested. He is trying to solicit himself to any and all comers. Who do we give me a name, Clint, that you think might legitimately take the USC job? Because it ain't Urban Meyer and it ain't Dan Mullen. These are dumb stories. They're dumb.
They're dumb.
Okay.
Here are the two names that if I were going after, I have one name right at the top of my list. It's not going to shock anybody, this name. Luke Fickell would be a home run hire at USC. I don't think you guys understand. He would bring credibility. He'd bring incredible determination and just good football. Like, I don't know if you understand USC. You've lacked good football for decades.
No, that's an interesting take. That's an interesting thought. Maybe they should be better at football.
Maybe that's instead of thinking about the celebrities and
the brand.
The brand. Stop thinking the brand sucks unless you play good football. Ask Texas. So Luke Fickell would be, but I don't think they're going to go with Luke Fickell because it's not splashy and sexy enough, which is so stupid. Reports Eric Bellamy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, coming out that he might be interested in that job.
Enemy. Yep.
Which, hey, that's not bad. But for me, it's Luke Fickell, and there's nobody else.
Yeah, I'll tell you the name, and I thought of this, John. We're on the same page. But
John Tweets Sports, Twitter handle.
Longtime friend of the podcast, John Tweets Sports. I saw him mention something like this on Twitter. But to be fair, I think John's Twitter philosophy is just tweet about everything so that you have covered your bases on every.
It's the shotgun approach.
It's a real shotgun approach to Twitter, which I appreciate.
I'm here for it.
Why is nobody talking more about Joe Brady as a college football head coach? Why are people not going out and trying to hire Joe Brady as a college football head coach? Because
he only won a national championship.
Listen, Eric Bieniemy is the best offensive coordinator in the National Football League. Okay, that is an undisputed fact. He has learned under Andy Reid, who's one of the best offensive minds in football over the last 100 years, but he has not proven anything in college. Joe Brady, on the other hand, has proven everything in college. So he's been in the homes of high school seniors looking to recruit them. He has done those things, albeit only for 1 year at LSU as the co-offensive coordinator. But he's proven it a little bit. Maybe USC thinks they can do better than Joe Brady, but somebody's going to hire Joe Brady, and he's going to be a very good college football coach, Clint.
Don't come back to the SEC. Stay away, Joe Brady.
Let's move north because simple question for you and for everybody else, Clint. Is Oregon for real? Is Oregon a real football team?
Is yes. Do you know why they're a real football team?
Tell
Because
me
Mario
why.
came in and said,
Super
I know you
Mario.
guys,
Put some respect on it.
You're right. That's on me. He came in and said, again, let me tell you how footballing works. It's physical. And you have to be strong. So what if I took good recruits, the best facility on the West Coast? It's the best facility on the West Coast. If you guys have never been,
they got that Phil Knight money, man. They got that Phil Knight money just flowing
Nike. In there. Now all of a sudden you got a guy who cares about strength and conditioning and hard nose and actually fundamentals. Oregon for real. And as long as Mario's there, they're going to be for real the whole time.
Washington, worst football team in America? They might actually be the worst football team in America. Some people pick them to win the Pac-12, Clint. This is a really bad football team. Let's move our way across the country. What's Ohio State's loss? Ultimately, big picture, what does it mean for them? Are they going to go undefeated the rest of the season? Simple question.
No.
Oh, you think there's real problems at Ohio State?
I think there's – look, you're telling me that Penn State and Wisconsin don't have a shot against them? Now, if before this game, no shot. I didn't give them a shot. Now, what do Penn State – what do Wisconsin do better than most teams in the conference? It's physical trenches. What did Oregon do really well? Physical trenches. Ohio State's got a problem. I think there's a greater chance they lose one of those games coming up in conference than not.
Boy, you would love to see it, wouldn't you?
Oh, you would love to see it.
We have got some interesting, and we can't talk about this for too much longer because we gotta move on. But think about some of these interesting scenarios. You could have at the end of the season 1-loss Georgia and 1-loss Clemson with a head-to-head matchup, and then you could have 1-loss Oregon and 1-loss Ohio State with a head-to-head matchup in there. The committee loves Clemson and Ohio State in those. Like, they love them. They love putting those teams in the playoff. But both of those teams would have lost a head-to-head matchup to another team. And so let's say Georgia runs the table, loses Alabama in the SEC championship game. You got Alabama that's in for sure. But then I think the next two teams have to be 1-loss Georgia and 1-loss Oregon. I think those have to be your next two. And then you fill out with, is there an undefeated team? Is Oklahoma undefeated? Is there an undefeated team, in the Big 12? Does Notre Dame somehow get it together and go on whatever? Or do you then go to Clemson versus Ohio State for that last? What's that going to be like? What's that?
Ooh.
How's that going to go?
I'll put another spicy sausage in there for you, Daniel.
All right.
Y'all don't think, now I don't think this is going to happen, but if you don't think the percentage has increased greatly, that Ole Miss is going to give old Alabama a run for their money this year? I'm not.
Stop.
I'll run. Whatever. I'm very interested in that line. Very interested.
Listen, check back for locks tomorrow because I am high on Ole Miss.
Okay.
I've been high on Ole Miss the whole season.
Good.
I'm feeling good about Ole Miss. My over 9 win total or whatever I got, I think it was like 8.5 or something. I'm feeling great about Ole Miss, but they're not going to give Alabama a run for their money. Notre Dame is trash.
They're
Florida
horrible.
Florida State is trash that's been lit on fire. They're not a real football program. Florida State's not a real football program anymore. You understand? It's not, the era is over. They are no longer a relevant football program. Period. Never will be again. All right. We don't have time to talk more about college football. We got some listener questions, mailbag things that we're going to get to. We'll be right back to do that. First, Built Bar is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. They are high in fiber, high in protein, low in sugar. They're keto approved. They're good for whatever meal replacement, whatever diet you're on, pre-workout, post-workout, at work, as a snack in the afternoon, on your way to work in the morning. BuiltBar.com comes in a wide variety of flavors. There's some crunchy ones. There's some chewy ones. There's all sorts of delicious options. Go there right now. Enter the promo code LOCKEDON15, and you're going to get 15% off your order. You can order multiple boxes, one box. You can order a variety pack or individual flavors. LOCKEDON15 is the promo code. BuiltBar.com is the website, and they are the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth.
They really are. And also, I want to let you know about a new sponsor, Prize Picks, Daniel.
That's right, Prize Picks.
Prize Picks. Daily fantasy.
That's the name of the company. Prize Picks.
I think we got it. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. What's the email again?
They say that you say things, like 3 times. It's lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com if you want to send us an email about Prize Picks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, college football fanatics, have you heard about Prize Picks? Prize Picks is a daily fantasy made easy. We love it, and we know you will too. It's a leader in college sports daily fantasy. That's college sports daily fantasy. It's unheard of. And also, they have other sports as well. But
why would you do anything but college sports?
I was just going to say, just do college. That's all. It offers any prop bet you can think of, from yardage to touchdowns, even interceptions thrown. All the users that deposit and use promo code Locked On will receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Whatever you put in, double that up to $100. So put in $100, get $200. You pick 2 to 5 players over under on their projections. You can win up to 10 times on any entry, and it's just you versus the projected numbers. That's it. Don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All right, so we have a couple more informational tidbits, and this comes from our listeners, Daniel. They asked us some questions. We're going to answer them for them.
That's right. So we got a couple different things. First thing I'll get to comes from Adam, and Adam asks, pretty simply, are we concerned about the run game? The run game has not been great. We did address this, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, briefly, but maybe let's talk a bit more, Clint, about the run game. Are we concerned? And why or why not? Justify your answer. Show your work.
Here's my work. I'm not concerned for two reasons. Reason one, our offensive line is handling their business. Handled business against Clemson. We did great work against the second best defensive line in the nation.
Sure.
And we held up more than admirably. I give the offensive line that game an A-, all things considered. It was a great showing. The second reason I'm not concerned about this, now I'm going to add a third that makes me want to be concerned, but I'm choosing to disregard it because it's the same thing I've been saying.
Not to run.
Because I've been saying it for so long, I'm sick of myself saying it, hearing myself. But the second reason is this. I think somewhere along the season, before we get to Arkansas, or maybe Arkansas week, we're going to see Sawyer slide back into guard, and we're going to see somebody entrench himself at left tackle. And the second that happens, please, Broderick,
please let it happen.
Work out there. Because the second Sawyer comes back inside, all bets are off on this run game. All gas, no brakes on the run game. So two reasons I'm fine. The third that I am concerned, when will we see the rotation only be two players? I'm sick of more than two.
Tighten it up.
Shorten that bench.
Tighten up the rotation, Kirby. And I do think you will see that in the bigger games. Well, you didn't see it against Clemson, but based on the results against Clemson, hopefully Todd Monken and Kirby will learn from that. And as we play bigger opponents later in the season, the lion's share of the carries will go to the better backs, who are, just to be clear, Zamir White and Kendall Milton. And so hopefully we will continue to see that as we move forward in the season. Okay. Joseph, I believe, sorry if I get your names wrong, if I get the questions confused. There's a bunch of questions that came in via email. Joseph asked an interesting question here. We did a lot of talking in the offseason about a potential 1,000-yard receiver. Georgia, in its history, has only had one 1,000-yard receiver in a single season. His name's Terrence Edwards. In 2002, he had 1,002 or 1,004 yards or something. Just barely got it. But 1,000-yard receiver, Terrence Edwards, 2002. We talked about Jorge. We've talked about others as potential candidates to be a 1,000-yard receiver. Joseph says, does it still count as a 1,000-yard receiver if it's a tight end, Clint? Because could Brock – I mean, it's 15 games. And what about Brock Bowers, Clint? I know at some point Darnell's going to come back, but those are two very different weapons.
Yes.
What are the chances that Brock Bowers has 1,000 yards this season?
I'm going to put it legitimately at 20% that he gets 1,000 yards, which –
you think it is as high as 20%?
I would have said before the season 2%.
0%.
But you're telling me it's clear as day they want to get him the ball. It's clear as day that he is. Now, Big O fans, you're going to be real mad at this.
No, stop.
I'm gonna disclaimer this. It's clear as day the coaches believe that he is a better tight end in this system because they've talked about it, Daniel. They've said definitively, oh yeah, no. Eric is a form of Brock. Like they put Brock as the penultimate on this team. So before the season, no chance. Now I'm going to put it at 20 because I didn't think there was any chance that I would see a 21 mile per hour running tight end as a freshman. I thought that was zero.
No.
And that's definitively true. So,
he's averaging 75 yards a game right now, Clint. You know what that is over 15 games?
Tell me, Daniel.
1,125 yards.
Well, that seems good.
Well, All right. Next question, and it's related to a similar topic. And so this or that, Clint. Well, we don't do this or that. We don't do this or that during the season, but sometimes we like to sprinkle them in. You could get with this, which is Brock Bowers has that 1,100 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns to boot. Or you can get with that, which is Adam Anderson gets his 20 sacks. But only one can be true.
Adam Anderson, 20 sacks.
He doesn't want to discuss it further. If a Georgia player ever gets 20 sacks in the season, that will be the greatest single individual performance that a Georgia player may have ever had, short of Herschel Walker.
That's what I mean. Just 20 sacks, especially in today's college, that is unheard of. He gets 20 sacks. That means we are just demolishing teams all across the board on our way to a national championship. Give me that all day long.
Yeah, because he's going to be getting double and triple teamed by the end of the season when he's sitting on 17, 18 sacks. So just think about how the rest of the defense is going to eat in that scenario. Ooh. Just think about.
I am right now.
This moment, I'm thinking about it. Bloop, bloop. All right. Teach to South Carolina. Sorry, life and how what's going to happen this weekend. Come back tomorrow. We're going to be giving out locks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a rating or a comment or a thumbs up. We appreciate all you guys, and we will be back tomorrow with locks and Georgia predictions, and we will see you guys then.
See ya.